According to a think tank, Ghana Institute of Governance and Security, government may have accrued in total $2.7 billion US in revenue from the oil sector after 4 years of production, but they are worried. The figure could have been $6.4 billion US if the country had adopted what they call the production sharing agreement. Okay, the institute is therefore asking government to now go on to this, because the current way at which we tend to do the contracts and negotiate them, etc., doesn't favor our country in many areas. But I believe even the minority have been raising some of these concerns the last couple of weeks, alongside the African Institute of Energy Policy, etc. I have to start with you, sir.
Well, thank you very much. And I think that is a call in the right direction. There's only one little problem. You see, people must also understand where we are coming from. We are coming from a situation where, at the time we were entering into our first major oil contract, what were the circumstances? As a state or as a country, we didn't have any money. The chances were 50-50. We're not even too sure we'll ever strike oil that, in commercial quantities. Somebody had come in and said that, look, of course, there were issues with those arrangements, but when you are in a disadvantaged position at the, as it was at the time, you are eager, but you are just giving the people a dog's chance. You will go and try. So I'm sure that we were very hopeful that, the little that we'll get at the beginning would even be better than nothing. Because the oil was going to sit there, the 2.7 was not even going to come, So progressively, I think that our oil contracts are getting better. And I'm sure that my brother will be able to tell you, because consistently, I think that the ones that we are entering into now may not be optimum, but I think that we are ironing out some of these things. But you see, where you are in a country where you don't have the money to do the exploration, those who are bringing their money to do the exploration must first and foremost take out what they sink in. But as I think that the any contracts and others are getting better, the conditions we are giving gives us a lot more advantage. And I think that consistently, as we continue to sign on into contracts, we'll learn international best practices and we'll take it from there.
Yes, Patrick, is that what is happening?
Yeah.
You're very much, because I see you're nodding in affirmation, and that's very good.
Rightly so. Thanks to President Kufuor and the MPP, in 2007, we were able to discover oil in commercial quantity. The NDC came in under President Mills. They took further steps to ensure that first oil was produced. Question is, do we have the right legislation in place to ensure that we maximize our oil revenues? The answer is no. Currently, the petroleum law, PNDC law 84 and 64, which has the petroleum exploration and other requirements for any company that wants to go into exploration of hydrocarbons, is being reviewed. And it's a step in the right direction, because oil exploration is a high-risk area that hitherto most companies will not come to explore here. But with the confidence that the sector is gaining in terms of discovery of oil and gas in commercial quantities, our right to leverage for a good stake in every petroleum agreement is enhanced, because you have the track record, you have big companies like Talu, Vitol, ENI, Anadaco, Hess, all coming in. They are big players. Recently, Vitol came to sign an agreement of about $8 billion with the government of Ghana for the exploration of gas, and it was approved by Parliament. And I believe we can leverage on some of these agreements and ensure that we get the right revenues due us from that sector. And the issue is how we manage the revenues and channel it into the right sectors of production. That is the worry of most Ghanaians, whether we've been able to use our oil revenues correctly in ensuring that one particular sector, for instance, as a government, we can take a decision that this year's revenue, we are channeling it into the health sector or the education sector. Then we know that massive improvement is achieved within that sector, rather than using it in areas that will not be beneficial to the economy. We cannot be throwing the money anyhow.
Okay.
That is my view.
We have on the line the Executive Director for GICS, the Ghana Institute of Governance and Security. They are head of research, Solomon, I believe, Solomon Kwakume. He came out with that very research or survey. And a very good morning to you, David Agbe. You're on the line. Now, particularly, what may have informed this very survey or research or policy document that you undertook, particularly when we know we don't have the technology, we don't have the capital to do the exploration ourselves, and you may have discovered whatever oil and gas you have in your fields, but it's still a probability as to the quantum that you estimate you can explore at the end of the period of the span of the wells.
Roland, thank you so much for this opportunity, and I am grateful that you've engaged the two parliamentarians, Honorable George Lowe and the other MP.
He's called Patrick Boama.
Yes, it's a Boama. That's a very good one. But I disagree with what they are talking about in terms of talking of the fact that the oil revenue is what we need to pay particular attention to. In any progressive country, we do not talk about only the management of oil revenue. What we do talk about is what are the type of contracts that our government has signed. It is the type of contract that we have signed that is what is going to bring us revenue. If you are not able to sign proper contracts, you will never get the revenue that you want to get. And so we need to start from that point of view. And we disagree with all the government, both NDC government and the MPP government, the type of contract that they've signed. It tells you that, they've not done the proper thing. What they have done is a wrong type of contract. All over the world, we have almost about 81 countries, producing oil in commercial quantity. And the kind of contract that they've signed, they've either signed what we are arguing for, which is called production sharing agreement or a service agreement. But Ghana hasn't gotten to the period that we have to sign a service agreement because it is a new industry to us. But with regards to the production sharing agreement, that is what Ghana must sign. That is what all the progressive countries are doing. So we are doing what we call concession. And concession is more like a hybrid system of a contract. That all other countries in this world, none of them is doing what we are doing. So when we hear our parliamentarians talking about the fact that at the time that we discovered oil, Ghana, we were not getting whatever. It is as soon as you have a systemic report or a data that suggests that you have oil in commercial quantity in your country, you can attract investors into your country. Roland, you and I, or everybody in this country, even do believe that even South Sudan, countries that they are fighting over there every single day, they've discovered oil. Many oil companies are there. How much more Ghana? A country like Ghana that everywhere that you go, people talk about peaceful nature of our country and all that. And people are telling us that after the time that we discovered oil, we were struggling to get investors into our country.
Well, thank you very much. So, we just wanted a brief comment from you on this very subject.
Yes, before I go, before I go, we have circulated all our reports to all the parliamentarians, the 275 parliamentarians, that they should never pass the production agreement that they laid in Parliament. They should not pass it. When they pass it, then it's like they are sentencing this country. They should never pass it. It is not good for us.
Well, thank you very much, David Agbe. David Agbe is the Executive Director for GICS, and you wanted to have a reaction to what he was saying.
Oh, I think when I was making my submission, I talked about a new legislation that is being looked at to ensure that we get proper or good value for stake in the oil sector. You see, you can conduct a seismic analysis and it will tell you that there's oil there. But you go there and hit the rocks. Most companies have closed their wells and run away. But we are a new oil producing country and we need to attract them. So we must be flexible till the point that we can leverage on our strength. Otherwise, all these big companies that are coming in will not come. I'm telling you, they will come and look at the data and tell you that, oh, we'll come back. Most of the wells have been closed. Some of them have gone to Cote d'Ivoire, Togo, Sierra Leone, and other countries. Ghana is not an island. They will look at the terms and they will bring their money. The fact that you have oil doesn't mean they should come and invest here. They'll have to look at the terms and conditions. Whether they're also business people. They are not here as Father Christmas. They need to make profit. Yes.
And especially looking at the quantum of capital that they tend to, the funds that
so he's talking about the production sharing agreement. It will come into place when we are...
to you, it's a gradual process.
Yeah, of course.
All right.
Well, it's not about gradual. I think that David, sincerely, if you ask me, I think that he got one, our perspective totally wrong. And two, he is not also giving us a proper perspective. And I was shocked that of all countries in the world, he mentioned Southern Sudan. So Sudan started producing oil long ago. Southern Sudan, you remember Sudan was one big country. So Southern Sudan just came into being because as a result of a war or a geographical redemarcation. So everybody knows how much oil, in fact the oil, the real reason why Southern Sudan came into being was that the oil was really in Southern Sudan.
Yes.
And the North were exploring the oil to their advantage. That's why they went and fought. So everybody knows that Southern Sudan has plenty of oil. So if they are signing, they came from a position of strength. At the point, he now says that all progressive countries, can you put us in that, when it comes to oil, can you put us in that?
How much do we produce?
How much do we produce to start with? Can we even compare ourselves to Nigeria in terms of... So you shouldn't, you see, when they are doing this academic argument, they should put it alongside the practicality.
Because it practically doesn't work.
Yes, it's easy to write.
Because in Nigeria, they produce millions.
Yes, it's easy to write letters, it's easy to write perspectives.
At the end of the month, they produce
to write
billions
documents
of barrels.
and then send it to people to read. But the practicality.
So you think
I have
too much of book work?
Yeah, I have done natural resources law as a subject, and I can assure him, like Patrick is saying, some of the things you have the natural resources, but you can be hungry because somebody must bring their technology and money to do it. And when you, so it's called, in marketing, they call it foot in the door. You open up a bit, people come in, they say they really have it. Now that they are going for the big kill, then you have the opportunity now to sit down and negotiate. New companies always start with things that entice people to come and invest. But when they are on the ground,
when you've gotten foothold of the competition.
That's why most of the production agreements are for 7 years.
Yes.
Then after that, you have the position to renegotiate and push in for more stake.
All right.